Hey everyone, welcome in. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We're in a cemetery in West Tisbury, Massachusetts, on the island of Martha's Vineyard. And we are here to visit the horror genre master, Wes Craven. Wes Craven was born on August 2nd, 1939 in Cleveland, Ohio. He passed away on August 30th, 2015 at the age... There's so many bugs here, I'm afraid they're going to fly in my mouth. At the age of 76 of a brain tumor. I have a few notes here that I wanted to share with you. He was born in Cleveland, Ohio, the son of Carolyn Miller and Paul Eugene Craven. He was of English, Scottish, and German descent. And he was raised in a very strict Baptist family. I actually found this very interesting to learn. Because of that, there was no listening to records, there was no watching movies, and certainly there was no alcohol. It was a very conservative lifestyle. He was allowed to watch Disney films, those were okay, but no other movie. So Wes Craven grew up not even watching movies. In fact, he didn't watch his first movie until after he graduated college. So it's kind of amazing. I'll tell you a little bit more about him, but right now let's go pay our respects at his gravesite. So here is the entrance to Lambert's Cove Cemetery. If you ever wanted to come and visit Mr. Craven yourself, you would come through that gate and then you would walk to your left. And you'll find him in his final resting place under this tree right here. So we're going to take a closer look. If you are not familiar with him, he has quite the filmography. In 1972, his first film, The Last House on the Left. In 1977, The Hills Have Eyes. In 1981, Deadly Blessing. 82, Swamp Thing. In 1984, he created the one and only Freddy Krueger, the subject of so many nightmares, and A Nightmare on Elm Street. He went on to do The Hills Have Eyes Part 2, Deadly Friend in 86, The Serpent and the Rainbow in 88, Shocker in 89, The People Under the Stairs in 1991, Wes Craven's New Nightmare in 1994, Vampire in Brooklyn in 1995, Scream in 1996, followed by Scream 2 the following year, Music of the Heart in 1999, Scream 3 in 2000, Cursed in Red Eye in 2005, My Soul to Take in 2010, and Scream 4 in 2011. And this is his gravesite. I believe he gets frequent visitors. These flowers here are fresh. They're real, fragrant. So somebody really loves him and brought those and left those for him. You could see that many fans leave other things, little rocks. Looks like there's a rock over there. Got some Indian feathers and a rock that says always. Heart-shaped rocks galore, symbolizing the love people feel for him and the talent that he had that he shared with the world. So in 2023, Entertainment Weekly ranked Craven's top 15 films in order. It should probably come as no surprise to you that number one spot was Nightmare on Elm Street, followed by Scream, Wes Craven's New Nightmare, Red Eye, Scream 2, People Under the Stairs, The Hills Have Eyes, The Serpent and the Rainbow, Scream 4, The Last House on the Left, Swamp Thing, Scream 3, it's a lot, Stranger in Our House, Deadly Blessing, and Shocker. So those were considered to be his top 15 films in order, as determined in 2023. Lots more I could tell you about him, but for now, just wanted to show you the gravesite and this beautiful cemetery in which he was laid to rest. There is also a little bit more to this particular memorial rock. If we go behind it, you'll find a line from Scream I'll be right back. Wes Craven grew up always having an interest in the arts without thinking of them as arts. As I mentioned, he wasn't allowed to watch movies except for Disney movies. So he watched them all, and at one time he thought he wanted to be a Disney animator. All he did was draw and draw and draw. And then around junior high, he got on the school paper and started writing. After that, he went to college, chose literature, and became a lit major. He got a double master's degree in philosophy and writing, and by that time, he thought he wanted to be a novelist. A friend of his told him that his master's qualifies him to teach college. So he applied to several colleges, and that's how his life was at the beginning, just blindly following instincts and leads. He didn't get anywhere, and he was being trained, believe it or not, to sell rare coins at a department store in Baltimore. Getting back to this movie thing, he never saw a movie until after college. He went to an interdenominational school, and if you were caught in a movie theater, you would be expelled. They had basically the same exact rules he had grown up with. Senior year, he decided to move when his literary magazine was canceled because of something he published about an interracial couple. He was denounced from the pulpit in chapel, he was semi-radicalized, and so he decided to go see a movie. And he chose To Kill a Mockingbird. What a way to commemorate being kicked out of school. That movie, it hit him like a thunderbolt, and he thought, if this is a sin, it was clearly not. After earning his undergraduate degree in English and psychology from Wheaton College in Illinois, and earning his master's degree in philosophy and writing from Johns Hopkins University, Craven taught English at Westminster College in Pennsylvania and was a humanities professor at Clarkson College of Technology in New York. He also taught at the Madrid-Waddington High School in Madrid, New York. During this time, he found himself preoccupied with film. He purchased a used 16mm film camera, started taking pictures and reading film magazines, and began making short movies. Some of his students noticed this and asked him to be a faculty advisor to a film club they were starting. He agreed, and they ended up making a series of small films. However, in the middle of all that, his department head called him in and said, "I don't know what you're doing with all this nonsense making movies. You were hired to teach English. You need to get your PhD and publish, or else I'm not going to have you back next year." So, Wes thought about it overnight, went back the next day and said, "You know what? Fine. I'm going to go figure out how to make movies." One of his students at the time, Steve Chapin, told him about his brother, Harry, in New York, who was making industrial movies and was quite good at it. So Craven went to see him. He didn't have a job for him, but he did allow Craven to just sit and watch. He showed him what he was doing, and along the way, Craven learned the basics of editing. 2 years later, that man would go on to become the famous folk singer, Harry Chapin, while Wes Craven went on to become the American film director, screenwriter, producer, actor, and editor that we all came to know and love. He was best known for his pioneering work in the horror genre, particularly slasher films, where he mixed horror cliches with humor and satire. There is one more thing about Craven's style of work that I thought you might find interesting. Craven's work tends to explore the breakdown of family structures and the nature of dreams and reality. Ostensibly civilized families succumb to and exercise violence in The Last House on the Left and The Hills Have Eyes. A Nightmare on Elm Street, Shocker, and all the Scream films address the process of addressing family trauma. Several of his films are characterized by abusive familial relationships. Families in denial are a common thread throughout his movies, an idea he has openly discussed. He has been quoted as saying, "The family is the best microcosm to work with. It's very much where most of our strong emotions or gut feelings come from." I grew up in a white working class family that was very religious. There was an enormous amount of secrecy in the general commerce of our getting along. If there was an argument, it was immediately denied. If there was a feeling, it was repressed. I began to see that as a nation, we're all doing the same things. He believed that ideas that come out of families which are fractured or disturbed in some way are the most profoundly terrifying things. He always felt that he was on solid ground when he was making a movie about families. Those first real terrors happened to us in the first 5 years of our lives, and that's where we are, in the middle of our family. Quite often for children, the most terrifying things are adults, and unfortunately, often it's the parents themselves that are the most frightening. Wes Craven has commonly been recognized as one of the greatest masters of the horror genre due to the cultural impact and influence of his work. As I mentioned, Craven died of a brain tumor at his home in Los Angeles on August 30th, 2015, at the age of 76. Many actors and fellow directors paid tribute to this man, including David Arquette, Adrienne Barbeau, Angela Bassett, Bruce Campbell, Heather Langenkamp, Neve Campbell, John Carpenter, Courtney Cox, Joe Dante, Johnny Depp, Robert Englund, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Lloyd Kaufman, Jamie Kennedy, Rose McGowan, the list just goes on and on and on. Christy Swanson, Edgar Wright, and Amanda Weiss. Apologize for that. The 10th episode of the horror television series Scream and the 5th film in the franchise in 2022 were dedicated in his memory. Thank you for sharing your talents with the world, Mr. Craven, and may you rest in peace.